My name is Belinda Doveston, and it is wonderful that you are here with me for our weekly I Ching forecast for the week commencing the 13th of April 2026. As always, we look back first. We reflect on the week that was, the flows of change we were grappling with last week. And we had certainly an action-packed adventure with Hexagram 7, the army, bringing us into focusing on being organized and energized and communicating, mobilizing the troops, drawing up the reserves, tapping into the energy and the opportunities of the week, bringing them up, bringing out the best of your people, of the resources that you can bring into the picture to help you achieve something important. With those two interesting changing lines, speaking to, making sure the right people are in power, not the wrong people, and looking at the victories, celebrating the victory and sharing the spoils, doing that correctly. Plus, Hexagram 18, work on what has been spoiled, getting stuck into the garden, getting into sorting out chaos wherever it may find itself, whether that's chaotic thinking, chaotic emotions, chaotic physical reality. We were all confronted by some area of chaos, and perhaps it was your admin or relationships, whatever it is, we were all confronted by something this past week where the I Ching asked us to just knuckle down in the midday sun and do the work. No shortcuts. Do the work to sort out the garden and get it all organized. Okay, we are all carrying some aspect of chaos in our consciousness. So how did that week come out for you? The army and getting the garden sorted, getting stuck in there, doing the work. How did that translate for you this week? It was a fantastic week where my team just mobilized. Everything just flowed and everyone just went and cranked through so much stuff this past week. So it was a week where clear communication, being organized, being focused, making sure everyone was in their right place, aces in their places, really paid off. And I trust for you too, some year of your life, you saw this manifesting and the I Ching gave you a tool, gave you a focus to say, right, we can do this. This is what we need to focus on this week. Right, that was the week that was. Let's look at this week. What are we paying attention to? What are we working through with the I Ching? And our first hexagram we have for this week is hexagram 22, Grace. Okay, such an interesting hexagram, also known as adorning or embellishing. This hexagram, we can understand it so clearly by the structure of the hexagram. We have on the top, we have mountain, okay, which sits and rests. And on the bottom trigram, we have fire. It's the ball of the sun. Coming up as the sun rises, the sun brings the mountain into full luminosity, showing its beautiful features, highlighting all its details, and bringing the fullness of the mountain to our awareness. We can see it beautifully. Okay, this hexagram is all about embellishing and adorning the form, okay, to give the inside a chance to reflect its inner beauty to the outside. I always think of this hexagram as being tantamount to the clothes and the hair and the makeup and the things that we adorn our physical bodies with. Our bags, our accoutrements, okay, the things that we adorn our lives with, our physical bodies with. We get dressed, we put on clothes we love, which is a beautiful thing. We choose our own particular flavor of colors and designs, and we embellish. Now, what we try to do when we do this embellishment, this adornment, is we bring out the best of ourselves through the choices we make. Now, we all have experiences of ourselves not looking our best and coming across people who tried to adorn but overdone it, tried to make something more than what it was. Okay, this is the lipstick on the pig, okay? The idea of when we try and whack on the adornments to cover things, to make things look more than they are, becomes garish, okay? So when we think about this hexagram, what we think about is we are bringing beauty to the form. Okay, now, our physical appearance, again, I have in this life have said, I don't need to put makeup on to be beautiful. I'm beautiful inside. Okay, and that is true. And that is true for you too. But what we're doing is we're not trying to make the inside beautiful. We're trying to make the inside look more beautiful by letting it shine, letting your light shine as it needs to be. And I do have that little song in my head, and I'm not going to sing it for you. I will spare you that. So when we think about this hexagram, we are often challenged in thinking about not getting overly attached to the substance of something and forgetting that substance needs form. It needs a beautiful outer to communicate and to attract and to put the idea out, all right? I've used this example before of a friend who had this amazing course, and it was just a Word document printed and just plastic ring bound, okay? Nothing special, no fancy cover. And what happened in that process is that people make interpretations of the content, okay, of the substance based on the form, how things look. They do judge a book by its cover. And so you could elevate the quality, the amazing quality of this course that you had by making it look beautiful, embellishing it with design and going that extra mile and how it is actually presented as a physical thing to her customers. That's what we're thinking about this week, whether we are the thing that needs the embellishment, okay, the refinement, or whether it's something we're putting together for work, all right? Do we just slapdash it together, okay, or do we put effort in how it's presented, whether that presentation is that physical presentation of the course handed over with the cover, or whether it is presentation in terms of the presentation of the idea. Perhaps you are pitching an idea, and if you just took some time to think about how you're presenting it, how you're positioning it forward, you would communicate your idea in a more powerful way. It's not to make your idea seem more than it is, it's to communicate its beauty effectively to the other. There are so many different ways we can think about this hexagram. And sometimes, you're in your mind, you don't think this is a heavy hexagram or is that lots of internal development. If you don't want to adorn yourself or your work or your home, this can be as awful as some of the other hexagrams that are awful. Okay. So think about what can we do to make the form match the beauty of the substance, all right? That's what this week is all about. Whether it's us, whether it's our work, whether it's home, whatever it might be, we're thinking about the presentation. Okay, we are adorning things to make them more. So we have one changing line. It's in the sixth position, right at the top. Okay, it's the culmination of the development through this hexagram. It's where everything comes together. Okay, with this changing line, this talks about the real maturing of our relationship between substance and form. Okay, we have found a way to bring a maturity and a mastery to some degree of how it appears and what it is, bringing them together. All right, they reach fulfillment. And they reach fulfillment because we have mastered both these concepts, we put them together, and we bring this thing that we have made, or this thing that we are, or this thing that we're doing, to the world, to others, in a way that's simple and humble and true to its very nature. Okay. We are not pitching lipstick on a pig. We are presenting something that has inner value, that's presented beautifully, and we're offering it up. Okay. That is what this line is saying, that we have been able to achieve, right? It's recognizing that we have been able to do this. And if you are grappling with this hexagram this week, perhaps this changing line can give you some guidance and direction as to what mastery of this hexagram looks like. We have mastered the ability to manufacture or develop or present the substance and the form in a way that's simple and humble and beautiful and real, and that they echo each other, and we offer that up. Okay, that is what is the guidance path for this week. That gives us a second hexagram. And the second hexagram, in a way, speaks to this idea of what goes up must come down. Okay, once we've reached this fulfillment, substance and form lining up, the simple offering of beauty and excellence. Once we reach that place, we now need to go somewhere else. Right? There's nowhere to go. We've got to go back down into the earth. because our second hexagram is 36, darkening of the light. Okay, so what I find really cool, we might not like this hexagram, but what I find really cool is that our first hexagram, 22 grace, symbolically is the light shining on the mountain and shining it in its fullness. Okay, to its fullest and in its fullness. And our second hexagram says, now take the light and take that under and hidden. Okay, so something is reached fulfillment, something is perfected in some way, and then we take it under, right? Because what this second hexagram relates to is challenges and difficulties in the environment, and what we have to do is hide our light, not quash or remove the light, okay, is to keep it under wraps. Okay, so there's something here where we are needing to implement some protection. If we think about this idea of bringing this thing to light, the grace, all right, the presentation of form and structure, in my mind, I have this little story of how this could play out. You present something that you've made, you've produced, okay. This is just using an example of if you're a creator or you're a maker. Let's just take that example. You've made something, right, that represents substance and form, beautifully brought together and offered. And the moment you offer that, there's a whole lot of people who want to know how you made it, where you got that, where the resources come from that you made this thing. What was your methodology? What was your technique? And what you have to do is then take that light and sink it down. Okay, zip it. So it's that kind of idea of we shine our light, perhaps that gets some attention, people start noticing. What we have to do is protect the thing that we've made, take the light down under the earth, bury it in for a little while, not turn it off, just for a moment, for this week, protect the light. Okay. It can often speak to going through a challenge, and the way we do that is hunker down. We don't rise above the fray. We take our light, we take it down, we go undercover. So I often find with this hexagram, it's really about zipping your lip, okay? Being careful of who you share information to, and just being conscious and aware of protecting what you have. The analogy with this hexagram is you're in a forest at night, okay? There's a whole lot of wolves, you can hear them off in the distance. You need to light a fire, you need to cook your meal, and what you don't do is make a big bonfire where all the wildlife can see and can move in on you, right? What you do is you make a pit and you dig down and you do a subterranean fire, and you still have a fire, but you're keeping it under wraps, out of sight. You're finding a way to still burn brightly, but for now, you burn brightly away from prying eyes. So just be conscious, be focused on what people are asking you. What are you being exposed to? What are some of the conversations you're in where you need to zip it, where you need to be conscious about what you're saying, not blah, 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 blah. Okay, just pull that voice in, just cauterize the overshare, because there's something here, right, that is saying, be careful, don't give it away, all right? And so we think about how we protect ourselves, whether it's emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically. We protect ourselves in the week, and we just are a little cautious on the second half of the week. Now that we have brought something to light, it's shining bright, behind the scenes, take it down and hide it away. Very interesting combination of energy, all to do with light, bringing the light to the surface, taking it back down. All right, thank you so much for being here with me. If this was valuable to you, a thumbs up, a like would be really great. And of course, if you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the bell, and the follow button if you're on the podcast version. And I look forward to connecting with you very soon for our next weekly forecast. Until then, shine brightly and shine safely. Take care.